Hey everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast, where you get to learn everything you want to know about addiction and recovery. I'm your host, Angela Pugh, co-founder of Kansas City Recovery, life coach, and recovering alcoholic. To learn more about me, you can listen to episode 0 on your podcast app or find us on the web at addictionunlimited.com. Hello, my friends. Welcome to bonus episode number 114 in our Double Down on Your Recovery series. Double Down on Your Recovery means I'm coming at you with double the episodes, double the support, and double the strategies, and I want you to double your recovery efforts. Be committed like you've never been committed before. Take all these strategies and worksheets and cheat sheets and use them. Make your recovery strong and fun. I'm your coach, Angela Pugh. I'm here to help you reclaim your life without alcohol. And thank you for spending some time with me today. I feel like these last several weeks of double episodes have kind of been a blur. We've done some really strong episodes with straightforward strategies and worksheets to keep you in action, doing the right things. It's been awesome. And I love getting you guys feedback in the Facebook group too and having more conversations about each of the episodes. That's one of my favorite parts. Today, we're going to talk about triggers. This is a regular topic of conversation in recovery. We always talk about knowing your triggers and protecting yourself from triggers, but I don't see the deep dive into triggers, right? The different kinds and how to recognize them and what to do about them. And honestly, this is a game changer. But let's take a quick minute and do a shout out to a new review we got. It says, "Thank you. I started listening to this podcast and can't stop. Angela provides an abundance of helpful information and tools. She tells it straight and her enthusiasm is infectious. I'm newly sober and wouldn't be where I am without the support. Angela, you make me want to be a better person and live my life to the fullest. Sending you a heartfelt thank you." And she went on to say, or he, I don't know if it's a he or she, they went on to say that they listen to a lot of podcasts, but this is the first time they've ever written a review, which I think is awesome also. So thank you, C Gypsy, whoever you are. I appreciate that. And you guys, this is what recovery is all about for me. I know I'm constantly telling you to be of service, support others, share yourself, share resources. And as a person who has been sober a long time, this is what fuels me to stay committed. It's all about service. Like she said in that review, she's newly sober and wouldn't be where she is without the support. That's what you guys are doing for one another in the Facebook group and in the Inner Circle membership private chat. You are loving and supporting one another, which gives us all fuel to keep moving forward day after day. Nothing will change your life more than service and gratitude, and nothing will allow you to change the lives of people around you like service and gratitude. I couldn't do recovery and be happy if I was only doing it for myself, because I get bored with me. I get so tired of hearing myself talk. I mean, I have to make the choice to get sober and stay sober for myself. Of course, I have to want it more than anything else because ultimately I'm the one that has to make that choice on a daily basis and do the things that keep me sober, right? I'm the one that has to do it, so I have to want it. But my fuel and fire at this stage of the game is all about service. I know this journey is long, and I know how challenging life is, especially for those of us with addiction. And all I want to do is, number one, prove to you that if I can do it, I promise you, you can do it, because I was a hot damn mess of a human. And number two, to help you and love you and support you along the way. So I know I'm constantly on you about being of service, and I will continue to do so because we have to love and support one another. No one else can understand us and love us like we can. We have to protect each other and lift each other up when we fall. We are truly in this together. So thank you again, Sea Gypsy, for your amazing and kind words. I'm so grateful that I get to be a part of all your recovery journeys. And I hope that all my drama and mistakes and nonsense can help make it a little easier for you. I just love you guys. Okay, are you ready to get into this conversation about triggers? I love this topic because you don't realize really how often you're triggered and all the different ways you get triggered. First, let's break it down into this simple equation, okay? Triggers produce thoughts, thoughts lead to actions, and actions lead to either a reward or a consequence, right? Every single thing you do on a daily basis starts as a thought in your head. This is why I put so much emphasis on mindset and thought process, because it 100% directs you in your life. Everything starts as a thought. So it's extremely important that we're in tune with our thoughts and practice training them to support us and be positive instead of being mean. Because sometimes that committee is just downright mean. And if I'm not consciously working on keeping the committee nice, it will revert right back to all of its old meanness. So again, triggers produce thoughts, thoughts lead to actions, and actions lead to a reward or a consequence. So take me with my ice cream obsession, okay? That's always a fun one to talk about. I work at home a lot, and sometimes I'll have the television on, like for background noise. I don't know why. I've always done it. Also, I tell you, I go to sleep with the TV on. I have to have background noise. And I'll just turn it on to news or a documentary, like just something to listen to while I'm working on the computer or even while I'm doing housework, right? Like I always have something on. So I can be perfectly fine working away, and all of a sudden, an ice cream commercial will come on. And now I'm triggered. I may have not thought about ice cream at all that day. Maybe I hadn't thought about it in days or a week. But now that I've seen the commercial, the committee starts talking about ice cream and rationalizing and justifying and thinking about going to get it. Then I'll tell myself, no, I shouldn't have any. Then I go, well, maybe it would be okay just this once. You know how the committee is. It just goes and goes and goes. Now, I'm triggered. Now, the action would be going to get the ice cream or not going to get the ice cream. Getting it will cause consequences because I'll be disappointed. I'll get tired because sugar makes me really sleepy, and I'll regret it. Not getting it will cause a reward because I'll feel strong and empowered. I'll be proud of myself for making the right decision because that right decision gets me closer to my goal and my big picture vision, rather than giving into the temptation of instant gratification. Like we always feel better about ourselves when we do the right thing and don't give in to that instant gratification. Now, that's not always the case. I don't mind having some ice cream or candy or something once or twice a week. I don't beat myself up over that. But I have to be very careful because honest to God, I would eat nothing but sugar all day, every day if I could get away with it. So I have to be mindful and make sure because too, when I have sugar, it kicks in cravings for more sugar. So if I have ice cream one day, like I just have to know that the next day I'm going to be craving ice cream. I'm going to be craving sugar. So there's just a lot. I have to be mindful of it because I don't want to start having it again every day because I definitely don't like that. You see how the most simple commercial is a trigger and causes a whole chain reaction. And drinking's the same way. So is food and every other habit we try to control or moderate or change. So we understand triggers and how powerful they are. But did you know there are different kinds of triggers? And there are different kinds of consequences. This is super important too because it goes along with learning to protect your sobriety and understanding what situations may be more challenging for you. We're going to keep this simple and talk about social, environmental triggers, mental triggers, and emotional triggers. I'm just going to go there. It gets much deeper, but I'm not going to bore you to death. I know you'll definitely understand environmental and social triggers because this is what we're faced with a lot, right? This is your environment. Like maybe you stopped drinking, but your partner didn't. So there's alcohol in your house, in your immediate environment. Or me, as I continued bartending in my sobriety, alcohol was in my work environment. And social triggers are the events and gatherings, right? The pool parties and cookouts this summer, special occasions, family events, social events that you would normally drink or where everyone else is drinking. Those are social triggers. A mental trigger is your state of mind. Like you had a bad day. You know that feeling when you've just had a bad day. You're just a little more on edge, irritable, impatient. Those are mental triggers. And emotional triggers, of course, are how you feel. Let's use the same example of you've had a bad day. You're going to feel worn out, depleted, and just overall not in the damn mood for anything, right? That's how you feel. Now, let's tie them all together. You walk into a summer party at your sister's house. Hello, social trigger. You are stuck in traffic all the way there. There's your mental trigger. And you already feel worn the F out, which is the emotional trigger. You see how you're already vulnerable as you're walking in the door? No one has said anything to you. No one has offered you a drink. Nothing has even happened. But there are some triggers stacked up against you already, right? Let's do another one. You're having some friends over for dinner and one of them shows up with a bottle of wine. Can you say environmental trigger? Now the wine is in your environment. You're a little nervous. You've been anticipating the dinner all day and there's your mental trigger. And you're excited for the dinner and excited to have your friends over and have a great night. There's your emotional trigger. Social and environmental triggers can be specific places or events. It could be seeing or smelling something. It can be an activity. You hear a lot of people say like they only smoke when they drink. So drinking is a trigger for smoking. Or a certain time of day. I used to start drinking at work at 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. was a huge trigger for me when I got sober. Emotional triggers are probably easy for you to identify too. Depressed, anxious, stressed, bored, tired, even happy or excited. Those are all emotional triggers. And mental triggers are your state of mind. Not the exact feelings, although the state of mind leads to the feelings, but the state of mind, like overwhelmed, on edge, uncomfortable, because these states of mind leave you vulnerable. Let's get a bit deeper. Remember the equation. Triggers lead to thoughts. Thoughts lead to actions. Actions lead to reward or consequence. So you walk into the neighborhood pool party. There's your social trigger. And that trigger leads to some discomfort and you're a little uneasy. That discomfort leads to the thoughts of, here goes the committee, you're at a party. Have a good time. And that thought leads to either having a drink or not having a drink. If you have the drink, your consequences are going to be you beating yourself up, feeling disappointed and guilty, and you'll probably end up with a hangover. Or you don't have the drink, and the reward is that you feel strong and capable. You trust yourself and believe in yourself a little more. You spend quality time with your family, playing and being present. And you get to wake up the next morning feeling amazing, and you get a great workout or a walk in, or a nice cup of coffee and some journaling or reading a book, or you get up nice and early and do more fun stuff with your kids. Triggers come in all shapes and sizes. The important thing is that you recognize when you're in a challenging situation and deal with it quickly so you don't become more vulnerable, or know ahead of time and put some things in place to protect you. So let's talk about the solutions. This is where having a tribe is so important. Your tribe can support you and protect you in so many situations. If you know you're going somewhere and you're going to be in a trigger situation, have a few sober people you're texting with before you go and while you're there. You'd be amazed how helpful it is just to have your phone in your hand or in your pocket and know your whole support team is right there at any second. This is how you protect your sobriety. Have your tribe in place to support you and laugh with you and be connected. Or if your environmental trigger is that you see something like me in the TV commercial, because honestly, the same thing happens for me with pizza and French fries, right? Or I can hear somebody talk about a certain restaurant and it will trigger a craving for me for some certain thing that at that restaurant that I love. I mean, I'm a junkie, so it doesn't take much. But one of the things that will keep me on track is thinking about how I will feel after. Like really getting in touch with the guilt and disappointment I feel when I do something on a whim and I know it's going against my goals or my big picture vision. I'll think about how I want the rest of my day to be and the next day, right? These are the micro decisions we always talk about. So I'll think about the rest of my day and think like, man, I'm busy. I have a lot to get done. I have a lot of phone calls to return. And if I eat that thing, I'm going to be tired and sluggish. I'm going to want to take a nap. Then I'm going to be disappointed in myself for giving in, and I'll be bummed. And I'll have physical consequences because I get all bloated and feel gross. And when I get up the next morning to go to the gym, I'm going to feel bad about myself because the food or ice cream or candy goes against my workout goals, and my clothes are tight because I'm all bloated, and yada, yada, yada. Consequences, consequences, consequences. Just like we say to play the tape all the way through to the end with drinking, think about everything that comes after the drink. How will you feel about yourself? It will ruin the rest of your day and the next day, and you'll be hungover and maybe throwing up, like so gross. The other thing I do is I escape the situation and take a minute by myself to get my head in order. This is the conversation with the committee that I always tell you about. There is almost no situation where you can't duck out and go to the bathroom or go to your car for a few minutes or go to an empty room wherever you are. So I will excuse myself for a minute, go to the bathroom, sit in a stall, and I'll get my head right. I may take several deep belly breaths if my anxiety is high. I label what I'm actually feeling, like, is it my anxiety? Am I hungry, angry, lonely, tired? Am I feeling insecure for some reason? Or was I running late so I was rushed and that makes me anxious? But I take a minute and label it. Because when I can identify the feeling or mood I'm having, then it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Just put a name on it. Then I take a minute and visualize how I want the rest of the day to go. I see myself with a big smile on my face, talking to people, being kind, having some food, drinking a bottle of water, or playing in the pool, or whatever the situation is. I visualize exactly how I want it to go and exactly how I want to feel. This is how you get the committee in line. You show it the mental movie of what you're doing. And remember what I told you before about visualization? I know we've talked about this in other episodes. Visualize with all your senses. Just run through it in your mind. See what you're wearing. See the smile on your face. Feel yourself being comfortable and at ease. See the other people smiling at you as you walk by. Smell the smells in the room, whether it's your perfume or the chlorine in the pool or the food. And remind yourself and the committee that you're a badass and you've totally got this. Okay? That's my routine. And the whole thing takes 2 minutes. Go somewhere quiet, have a few deep belly breaths, breathe all the way down to your belly button, feel your belly expand with your breath. Then I go, okay, what's your problem exactly? Are there too many people? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Maybe a little anxious because there's a crowd? Am I hungry? Am I hot and uncomfortable? Then I go, okay, we've got this. I'll send a text to someone in my tribe, and that text may only be a little eye-rolling emoji, but whoever it is will understand. Then I start my visualization. I'll start my mental movie, right? I'll say, okay, let's stay 45 minutes. We'll go out there and be charming and smile, be relaxed and smooth. My dress is killer, so I've got that covered. And I know I want to say hi to this person for sure, so let's breathe through this, get something to eat, get a drink real quick, and all of a sudden that 45 minutes will fly by. Literally in 2 minutes, I can walk out a whole new person. I do this everywhere, by the way. I do it at the gym before a workout. I do it sometimes before I walk into an AA meeting, or if I'm going to a conference or a speaking engagement, before I do a Facebook Live, because all those situations are triggering for me. Those are all triggering things. They're all uncomfortable for different reasons. All those situations make me uncomfortable. It's either social anxiety or insecurity or fear I'm not going to do a good job, or maybe even fear I'm going to run into somebody I don't want to run into. All of that is triggering. But if I get in front of it, I can navigate it and make better choices that are feeding my recovery and retraining the committee. And lucky you, if you want a triggers worksheet, I made one for you. It's exactly what I outlined in this episode, all ready to go. You can use it anytime, anywhere, and you can get it at www.myrecoverytoolbox.com/114 because this is episode 114. Again, that's www.myrecoverytoolbox.com/114. And I will link that in the show notes with the links to work with me as your coach and how to join the Facebook group. Own your triggers, my friends. They are everywhere, and that's okay. But we want to own them so they don't own us. And remember, next week is our last week of double episodes. Double Down on Your Recovery is coming to an end, but I hope you've loved the ride, and I think we will definitely do it again down the road. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I'll see you next week.
You've reached the end of another great episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. Candid and honest conversation about addiction and recovery. Be sure to visit us at addictionunlimited.com to join the conversation and access show notes and links to everything we talked about. Love this episode? Please take 30 seconds to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes to help us improve and give you the information you want. Thanks for listening. See you next week.